All right, we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, we're live. This is the Wayland Planning Board. It is 7:35, April 22nd. First item on the agenda is public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on to the 400 Boston Post Road application for amendment to the master special permit. So we have a draft decision.
Yeah.
Do you want to start? Or?
Yeah, I do not expect the board to
Do you
approve
guys
this.
see copies? Or? I don't.
Well, so
I'm also
what you
interested.
sent around was not a new draft, this is the 2013 stuff,
Right,
right? Okay, so,
2013.
No, it's just that's a typo.
Oh, I'm sorry, the date. Jeez.
One second.
What, did I send the right one
What you
out?
emailed is the same
No,
as
it
what
is-
you're passing out, isn't it?
It's the right one. It's just there's a typo.
Okay.
Typo.
So, I do not, does everyone have a copy?
okay,
Tonight, we are not, I do not want the board to vote this decision. I want to go through the decision tonight, spend some time on the decision. There are issues that Dan has raised and that I raised at the last meeting that I'd like to go through. One of
okay,
the,
and I have not gone through it because I thought it was I have not gone through it carefully
okay.
because I thought it was 2013 and not relevant.
yeah, but, so we're not voting this tonight, though,
Okay,
okay? One of the issues regarding the proposal was obviously permission of where this sign is gonna be located. And the sign is gonna be located on an MBTA license and easement that was given to Town Center. And there was a question raised whether this sign is in the mixed-use overlay district. And one could say that it's implied that the MBTA right-of-way, because we have a rail trail that goes by that connects to Town Center, was that part of the overall design. I have a copy of the easement, because Town Center needed to get an easement. It was a condition that the planning board imposed, that they had to get a easement. The signalized intersection at Town Center at Route 20, an entrance into Andrew Avenue, crosses over the MBTA right-of-way. So the Town Center, the original developers, had to pay $175,000 to the MBTA, and it was based on a license. So they actually have to make payments like every, 5 years to basically cross that property. So there was a question raised whether that is part of the mixed-use overlay district. So where they're proposing, and this is an A&R plan that we signed, and where they're proposing to put the sign, and I'm not sure, and this is where we need more survey, is approximately right here, Dan. And that's part of this MBTA right-of-way, but I need to confirm that, okay?
We need to see a couple things. At the last meeting on April 2nd, I actually asked them to give us a plan that
Yeah.
took off a lot of this detail so we could actually see the property
Exactly,
boundaries.
right.
Did we get that?
No, that's gonna be a condition.
No, I want a condition. I want to see it.
Well, you're gonna see it, but we're going to, and again, one of the questions you raised, this is a special permit, okay? A year ago, they asked if this was a minor change, and you guys gave me an order saying, no, Sarky, we don't view it as a minor change, this is a major change. So a public hearing was advertised,
Okay.
notices were sent out to all the abutters, and the only application we have for this project is a 2-page special permit application for the signage,
Okay.
so.
So, there are
So this is-
property bounds here.
Right, but see this right here? This road crosses, this is the MBTA right-of-way.
Right, but why would, right, and this road crosses here, and this
Correct.
is the state highway, and there's all kinds of stuff outside of the bounds of the parcel, but why would one think that this is incorporated? That
Because
this parcel is
This,
incorporated?
this project couldn't get built without an easement across the MBTA right-of-way.
Who owns it?
Okay,
the
but it's an
MBTA.
easement, not ownership,
That's correct.
right, so,
Well, is it even an easement or a license?
Well,
Or-
that's-
sorry, license. And where does this point fall in relation to their
Good,
proposed
Very
sign?
good question, and these are the details that we need to have.
Well, Jen, if you look at their current plan, it's outside of it. And that's
By-
why, actually,
by-
Annette, actually, to give her credit, she actually raised this today.
Uh-huh.
If you look at their plan,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm coming straight from elsewhere, didn't bring it.
it looks like this is the sign, And if this is the property boundary,
Right.
which I think it is, then it's not, then it's, That's not
Can I,
right.
can I just orient this the same way as this? Where did it go, Ricky? Right, so the sign actually appears to be here.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah, I don't wanna write on this, but.
That's okay. You can pencil, I can erase it.
It appears to me to be located here.
So this is a special permit. We have to May 27th, because we have 90 days from the public hearing to make a decision on this.
Okay.
So tonight we'll continue the hearing, and I'll probably ask for an extension so they can give us more detail of these plans.
Yeah.
That was, I was planning on doing that tonight anyways.
And I think as we go through my other questions,
Yeah.
I think maybe some friendly advice to them is that they have an attorney respond to this stuff, because there's a lot of legal issues here that I
Yeah.
feel like they just overlooked and didn't pay attention to. And-
Well, Dan, one of the biggest concerns I have, I don't think Eversource is gonna allow it.
Under their
Honestly,
lens.
they're not,
Why?
because it's
It's
dangerous.
under their high tension
Oh,
lens.
because of
Yeah.
the tower issue.
Yeah. And that was my first suggestion. The first time they came in, I'm like, guys, you really should, well, we don't know where it's gonna go, and I recommended that they seek Eversource permission first, right? I mean,
Well, does she have legal counsel that's advising her? They do seem a little casual on this thing.
So it seems to me like first of all, do we have a form application for special permits?
we, yes, we do.
Okay, I didn't see that on the website.
I guess it's only one page.
We should probably look at that and think about whether or not we need to revise that form, make it, because we should be getting an application form with every project that
Right.
has some bare minimum amount of information, like the assessor's ID references, so we know what property we're dealing with,
Right.
who the owner is, who the applicant
Yeah.
is. Like, we don't have that for this project. We have this, which
Right,
is
it's
basically a
just a-
presentation.
Right.
It's not an application.
I've actually spent a little bit of time in trying to figure out how procedures work. I've spent a little bit of time with our forms, and they are in desperate need of reform. They're redundant, they're confusing, they're incomplete, they're hard to find, they're all, so it's absolutely a priority in my mind.
So I feel like with this project, I went into the master special permit that was issued in
13? I don't know, since September 24th?
2008, right?
2008 was the first one.
And then
Oh, okay.
the zoning bylaw speaks to the district boundaries, and that refers to a survey plan, which, yeah, I haven't seen it, it's not posted online. So, I mean, that's critical to know where that boundary is.
Yep.
But to me, the first step was to get a completed site plan application, a special permit application.
Didn't seem to have it.
Sarky, did they fill out a form?
Yes,
Do you have it, Andy?
yes, I do, that's what I'm getting right now.
Okay.
I just want to give you,
We didn't certify it as complete, did we?
I'm sorry? Yes, I did. Yeah, guys, their application this was well done. I mean, the pictures they took, everything they did as far as for signage, I think is probably one of the nicest sign applications I've ever seen. I mean, you look at what they did, the first submittal was incorrect because they didn't reference the mixed-use overlay district, they referenced our sign bylaw, so they made them resubmit their application. But they reference a mixed-use overlay district. They provided some legibility study of the reason why they need larger signage, overall map of the sign locations. I mean, I guess the survey plan, aerial photography, the survey plan was probably too busy, I agree.
Yeah, I think 80% of it's there, and I agree with you. I think it's a very
You know,
good presentation. It just, we're missing a few things,
Yeah,
I think.
So this is what we approved in the mixed-use overlay district. Those are the signs that we actually approved.
But were you asking, is there sort of a cover page
Yes,
application for
that's what I'm getting.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, guys, I had this all laid out on my table and I have to move it today. So this is the application for a public hearing.
Okay. Jen, are you interested in working on maybe improving our forms? Because I think this is, I think we need more, I think
Yeah.
there's better examples of good forms out there. and
Yeah.
This doesn't provide,
Well, I think we should have a form for signage, and we should have probably a form for other special permits.
well,
Like,
this is
we have a
good-
special permit sign application for a conservation cluster.
Yeah, this is a good start, it needs more
Yeah.
information that we can then work with.
Yeah,
You wanna see this?
sure, thanks.
All right, so can we get the,
Yeah, I have to find that, the 2004 plan, is that what you're looking for?
so there's a couple things. So the master special permit references assessor IDs that existed back in 02 or 04, but now that's been changed. So if you go on the website today,
Well,
you don't see them.
okay, that brings up, well, we'll get to it. This is the master special permit that was originally submitted for Town Center in 2007. The plans that you're asking for, those is 2004. So I'm gonna have to go see the town surveyor and try to find those. I couldn't find them in the file today, but maybe I'll be able to find them tomorrow.
Yeah, so like the bylaw references, it defines the boundary of the district. By referencing
Article
a
20.
2005 plan. So it's under the definition section.
Yep.
So we should have a copy of that plan with this file, right? Just so it's there. And
So can I just ask for clarification on exactly what our goal for tonight is?
I think to go through the outstanding issues for this application and
Okay,
maybe start talking about the decisions and drafting.
okay. All right, and the time frame for,
90 days from the opening of the public hearing, which would be May 27th, is when we have to file a decision. Or we can ask for an extension.
I'm sorry, May
27th.
27th, our decision is due.
Yeah.
And that's for a special permit amendment.
Correct.
So
So
let's get it, before the next meeting, let's get a copy of that survey plan. Actually, can you actually get that digitized and put up on the website?
Yeah.
Because you have a good website that has all the documents for this project. You can upload that to that website.
I think you gotta read this section too.
Can you tell us what you're
Is this the
passing?
amendments?
So a year ago, when they were originally talking about the idea of redoing a branding for
Mhm.
this project, redoing a whole new branding section, they approached the board, and there's two ways that the board can issue basically permits for projects like this, either minor or major. Major amendment requires public hearing, which we did for this project, a butter notification, we did all that. They were requesting that this be considered a minor amendment, and
Right.
we basically said no. So
Right.
we addressed that almost a year ago.
Okay.
I just wanted you guys to, because Dan asked me today, did we ever, when
And
did we?
there was a paper trail for that
Yes,
that identified?
well, just an email, not a formal letter,
Okay.
basically, just saying, look, this is gonna be a major amendment, it's gonna require a public hearing.
And they acquiesced?
Yeah, they act, that's
Okay,
why we did
okay.
this.
Okay, yep.
Some guidelines for minor and major modifications.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna get that survey plan posted on the website.
From what date, Dan?
So that's the, it's a date, September 6, 05. That's a plan that, it says that the town surveyor prepared, which is the boundary, it shows the boundaries of the district.
Okay.
And so that'll inform where exactly this sign is, and
Posts,
I think they have a problem.
will it finally, or, I mean, do we have a sense of where their proposed in relation to any other field marker?
I mean, it's just based on this.
Just based on that, yeah.
Which, again, and that's the other thing, is to follow up. I asked them last time to give us a cleaner plan.
But you
Right.
can't tell from there where it is.
It's hard to,
Right,
I want them to identify this as the boundary, which I think it is. So once that's identified as the property boundary, then we know that this is not in the district, I think,
Right.
because I think the
Right.
survey plan will show the property boundaries being the district.
yeah, yeah.
So I think they need to address that point, figure that out. If the sign needs to be in the MBTA property, then, you know, I would probably go along with maybe an amendment to the zoning map to include this as part of the district, but I think they need to be doing that
But only
due
if,
diligence.
I mean, if Eversource, I guess,
Well, we wouldn't, if they wanted to go in the MBTA right of way and they wanted this signage, they'd have to go in front of the zoning board of appeals and seek a
With what? A variance?
Yeah. Right?
They could.
That's their only option.
They're not entitled to it, but
Right.
they don't qualify, but they could ask for one. But the safer thing to do is to amend the zoning map to include this area as part of the zoning district.
But I think it's also implied, Dan, that they couldn't build this project and we filed a certificate of vote basically making sure, because one of the conditions is that they had to get permission to cross the MBTA right-of-way to build a road. If they can't build a road, they don't have a project. So it's sort of implied that this MBTA right-of-way was part of the,
no, well, I don't know, I wouldn't, I
I'm
wouldn't
just
even-
saying.
Right, I think that's a stretch,
yeah. And they paid
Person.
for it. It wasn't like, you know.
but they didn't pay for this,
They
they
probably
paid for the
for,
right of
Ingress
passage.
and egress, they probably
Right.
don't have.
On the,
right to
on
put
the,
signs.
on the right, on the roadway, not
Well,
on the
that's not true, because
verge.
they have to put a street sign for the street, so there's a street sign that's in,
Have they even talked to anybody at MBTA about
No.
this? So why they even before us, if they don't even know if they have permission to put the sign up?
because, I don't remember what Charmaine said, she's anxious to get this, have some type of approval, because her budget cycle for the year ends July, well,
Not our,
and she, I know it's not our, well, it's our problem.
So she expects
In
us
that-
to approve it if
No,
they haven't
no,
gotten approval
Well,
from?
she wants to be able to go back and say, look, I have a board approval, wants to be able to go back and say, look, I have a board approval of a concept of the sign, leave this money in the budget for next year.
Oh.
I'm just,
I would
I'm
just.
not the applicant, I'm
Right,
just
no, I
being
would
trying.
just say that there have been public meetings with the sense of the board has been that X, Y, or Z may be approvable.
I thought we gave her essentially
But-
that
We did,
concept
we did,
last
Right,
we
but I,
did.
but I,
meeting.
I- yeah, I was not at the last meeting,
Yeah, we
but,
did.
So
but
did
at the
that.
at the prior meeting, there were certainly positive rumblings, and
Right.
and based on the, you know, comments about the meeting, the minutes, it seems as if that's already been given. And to go further and to draft decisions without any sense of, without proper plans, without a sense of permission from MBTA, without a sense of
Well-
permission from Eversource,
that,
it,
Kind of spinning your wheels a bit.
right, we're wasting, it might be time that will pay off later, but at the present time, I would say it's a waste of our time to be dealing with it just now, because there may be many other aspects that need to be addressed based on Eversource's or MBTA's feedback. And
But
so
are you
we're-
afraid that they're gonna bring in all the information at the last minute and then you'll be pressed to write a decision?
correct.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So you're like, let's get it at least
At least start it,
roughed out.
right. We don't have to spend time on this tonight, we really
But
don't.
we don't have to approve with insufficient information.
No, I totally agree, I'm not,
So-
I'm not asking you tonight, again, it's just to go through the decision, and, you know, Dan's raised some issues, we've raised issues at our last meeting regarding permission, and I just, you know, when we continue the meeting tonight, we're gonna continue this to a date certain in May,
Right,
and maybe we'll have more information by then,
right.
They knew we were reviewing this tonight, didn't they?
yes.
And they were like, we're not interested.
Well, I mean, she's not gonna,
She doesn't have anything.
she doesn't have anything. I mean, they need time to have the surveyor go out there and actually locate exactly where this sign's gonna go. And then we also asked that we actually have, Dan, I think, you know, put a stake in the ground, exactly where is this sign going, so we can go back out again and look at it. And I actually think their rendering that they provided is incorrect, because I took a picture of the board that's up there, and where they have their proposed signage that they photoshopped in is completely inaccurate. It's actually lower. It
Well-
doesn't look as big. from the picture I took of where it's located, so.
Well, it sounds as if we need a really clear accounting of the deficits of their application and presentations to date, and a date certain by which said information will be provided,
Yeah,
or a denial will, would be forced to deny based on lack of appropriate and approvable information.
I'm just I'm just trying to assist them in this process. I know they're struggling right now. I know they're trying to do a
Understood
grading.
and appreciated,
And I just wanna help them along. I mean, they may come back and they say, guess what? Eversource says no. At least I can say, you know what? We tried,
Right,
we made an effort to try to help you and,
yeah, no, it's not in an effort, I mean, my recommendation isn't in an effort to see the project fail, but in being really clear with them,
Yeah.
so that we're not both backed up against an 11th hour decision drafting, well, contingent upon this and contingent upon that, it's just,
I
it's gonna
agree.
be sloppy and problematic if we don't very clearly spell out the requirements ahead of time.
Yeah, why don't I do that? I
Yeah.
can give you a new email tomorrow, just outlining the things that I think are missing, and
okay.
then maybe you can just forward that to Charmaine.
Well, let's all talk about what,
Yep.
let's get those bullets down now so
Sure.
that we can be
So,
sure.
so I want them to identify on a clear plan where the tower, where the signs, where the sign and the walls are gonna be, on a plan that doesn't have all the additional stuff that's on that plan.
Right,
That
right,
shows the property boundaries and delineation.
yeah, a scaled survey plan.
They should have a narrative explaining what relief they're asking for and what
Yeah.
sections of the master special permit they're asking to
Yeah.
change, because that wasn't provided. I think I figured out our authority to do it, so I'm okay with that.
And some form of permission from the
Oh yeah, this is
landowners?
site control,
Yeah,
right.
site control.
This is a site control issue, so we can't just make exceptions. If we're gonna apply that policy for other projects, we have to apply it for this project. So they shouldn't be here unless they can show that the MBTA has given them permission to put the sign up.
And what rights does Eversource have as landowner or
The
Occupant.
Eversource has an easement over the MBTA property, however.
with any exclusive
Yes,
rights?
they have exclusive
Yeah.
rights regarding height and structures underneath their tower.
So
They
they,
need consent from
so we
Eversource.
absolutely need consent from
Yep,
Eversource.
And they know that. At our last meeting, we told
Well,
them that, so.
I think, from sort of an administrative perspective, that information needs to be provided prior to this May 27th deadline
Oh, yeah.
by-
I will, yeah,
but I
this
think we
week.
should set a date for which, ideally it would have been included in the first application, in the application materials, or at least, identified as a necessity at the first hearing. But so we need to give them a drop dead deadline for that information so that we're not backed up against that May 27th
All
deadline.
right, so why don't we do this? Can we look at our calendars in May, when our next meeting in May would be? What are you looking at me fine for?
Yeah.
It's incredible
Good.
fast. We can't, Dan can't do Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For the end of time, or did you get?
Just
Just
spring.
through June. I've got Little League.
And
That's
and
definitely
Jen
on
can't,
Thursdays.
and Jen can't do Thursdays because she has board meetings on Thursdays, so.
Sometimes.
I love Mondays, guys. If we could do Mondays.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like every Monday.
Yeah, every Monday. Every single Monday for the rest of your life. No.
Wednesdays are actually preferable for me, because I've got other board
Okay.
meetings on
No,
Wednesdays.
Wednesday's fine. for me.
Wednesday's not good for me.
Okay. Friday nights.
Monday the 6th works.
Let's see.
It's 13.
I can't do it.
It's Monday the 13th.
You can't do the 6th?
Oh, jeez, I gotta get blood work done.
I can't do any night that week.
So, Sarky, what are you proposing here?
Well, we need to continue the hearing tonight to
Right.
May. So,
But can we back up?
yeah, we're gonna back
So-
up. We're just gonna, let's try to find a
We're
date.
just picking a date right now.
Just pick a
Right,
date.
but I just wanna make sure that what that date needs to address. So we've got a
I
decision
want
due
them to give us everything we're asking for by that date.
by that date. Okay, so
Not-
this is,
Yeah, that date, not the May 20th
Right,
date.
exactly.
can I suggest that we ask them to give us information prior to that date? Because there's no point in us getting together and seeing it for the first time the night of the meeting. I need time personally to look at things, think about things, come in
So-
with questions and concerns.
Agreed, so why don't we, are you guys free the May 13th and ask them to provide stuff by the 6th?
Perfect.
And what would the 13th be
That'll be a
for?
planning board meeting, May 13th, our next planning board.
For
meeting.
what?
For this project, and we need to start drafting zoning articles and discussing zoning articles for the fall
So
town meeting.
related to this project, all the required backup would be submitted at that point
Well,
by
Dan,
them?
well, they want it the week before.
Yeah, I think we should ask for it.
So that would be
by the
May,
6th.
Okay,
I would say,
all right.
yeah, May 8th.
Why not the 6th?
Okay.
Six.
All right, the 6th.
It's 2
Okay,
weeks.
I'm not available May 13th, but I don't know, when do I become legal to decide?
Town meeting.
As soon as you get
Town
elected.
meeting.
Wait, you're not voting on this one? I
Yes,
thought
she is.
You are voting on
Oh, I
this.
can vote on this one, okay.
It's a special permit.
Is it, right. Yeah, well, I should say, I believe I'm busy on the 13th. That may get changed, so.
You can't do Wednesdays.
I can't do Wednesdays.
Yeah, actually, that Monday may get changed. Let's keep it the 13th, and if I'm here, terrific, and if I'm not, I'll send written comments.
Will we have a quorum? Are you free?
13th?
Okay, so 13th, 7:30, May 6th deadline to provide missing information. And I think they should also be prepared to address this issue of how, do we even have the authority to grant the special permit if the property is not in the district?
Dan, and if they can't provide the
That's a good
information,
question.
do you want me to get a continuance letter to sometime in June or July?
Yep.
Right, I mean, I think the authority question is one for us, not for them to
No, I
answer.
think it's for them too.
You think?
Yeah, they're the applicant. They should be able to answer a question like that. And if,
Whether we have the authority to grant that?
yeah, whether they're even properly before us. Like, do we even have the authority to grant the relief you're asking for?
Well, I think what they do, if that section that the planning board can waive any and all regulations in the mixed-use overlay district.
No, only if it's in the district.
Oh, if it's in, I'm sorry, yeah, okay. But if it's in the district, we do have the authority.
Yes, no question about that.
Okay.
My question is the sign gonna be the district?
Right, right.
And if it's not, I think they should tell us what authority they think we have to grant them the relief they're seeking.
What happens if it's not in the district and Eversource says, yeah, you can put it there? Can they just put it there without our blessing?
No,
I say no.
no,
It's not legal under zoning.
no.
This sign would not be approved
It
anyway.
would not,
true.
that's right.
You're right.
Now, could they replace,
That's, by the way, just so you guys know, that's in the residential zone.
oh, yeah.
It's not even commercial.
Well-
That strip is in the residential zone.
Right, and so,
It is?
and on the other side of this street, they don't own the property,
Who owns that?
20 Whalen.
Oh, on the
I
other
mean,
side
on
of
the
other
west side.
Side of the,
driveway.
They don't
Drive.
own, they do not own this monument sign.
so what are they gonna do with that?
Well, good question.
That's why Ned asked if they had
That's why.
permission to take it down.
Take it
Right,
down.
right. I forgot about that.
Okay,
Okay, so we were going through your points there, Dan. Did we get through to the end? So,
Tell us about what we just said, zoning authority. Is this in the district?
site control.
Site control,
and that site control
No.
has two
Plans.
components, Eversource and MBTA.
yep.
And I think we should clarify that we're looking for both.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, however one says it politely, with backup, not just, oh yes, we do.
Oh, no, we need to see it. So
Right.
that-
Evidence of it.
Right,
Oh, no,
exactly,
no,
that's
no,
the word I'm-
yeah.
And that's normally what,
Right.
an application form should have.
Exactly.
A signature line for the owner and the applicant.
Yeah,
And so the owner here is MBTA, and
Right.
maybe our form should also include, are there any other interests in the property that
Right.
have an effect on the special
Yep.
permit application, and then
Yeah.
that should be identified and disclosed.
Sarky, can I write on this?
Yes, you.
No, that's your original.
No, that's my original.
Okay,
I'll scan it and send you one tomorrow.
okay,
I'll scan
or,
this and send it.
okay,
You can also upload that too while you're uploading stuff. It's nice to have a good depository. All right.
Okay,
Good, anything else?
yeah, just, here's, we have our,
I'm so-
Continuing this hearing?
yeah, we continue, oh, so
Okay,
we
so
need a
you finished your
motion.
list,
Motion to
Dan?
continue.
Oh, we need a motion.
Wait, you're done.
We have the motion.
Yeah, no, sorry, did you get through your list? Okay,
I'm gonna email him, and I can copy everybody, and just,
Yeah.
with the bullet point list of things.
yeah, and that way if we think of anything else.
So motion to continue to May 13th with a deadline of material for May 6th.
What time and where?
Yeah,
Here.
Dan will
7:30.
circulate,
Do you guys want to meet here or Town Center? Here, okay.
Dan will circulate draft for review.
7:35.
So moved?
Thanks, Kev.
All in favor? All opposed? It's 4-0.
Okay, I have to, Annette pointed this out today. I mean, I wish you would just tell us before.
Thank you, Annette.
It's more effective to
At least
wait
it's
till
not a
it's
town meeting.
You know what?
Last time.
Okay, so Dan, again, the map and lot numbers, okay, I have, this is gonna be, so these are the numbers that we listed, okay? And then I did a nice little map.
So can you back up and tell us what you're looking at?
Okay, we're looking at our only article at town meeting, and that is the district.
Yep.
Okay, the registered marijuana, medical marijuana district.
Mhm.
It's the same district that just got approved by the Attorney General. So we reference map and lot numbers. The map and lot numbers are referenced because we have a GIS and they have map and lot numbers. However, when the zoning was originally approved to carve out this district, because this is limited commercial, the zoning map has different map and lot numbers. So what I did is I included everything. New map numbers, old map and lot numbers. So these map and lot numbers, they're all within the same district, but they're different. Okay, like this is 21006A. The outline of the district didn't change, but there are new map and lot numbers that go within this district. I think
How come?
because the records they're not clean. So Annette says we should reference something in the article.
Well, wait, so are these the old numbers or the new numbers?
Okay, so
The
these
holes-
are both old and new numbers. All the numbers that I have on record are in this warrant.
Did you specify which ones are old and which ones are new?
Okay, no, I didn't. That's what I didn't do.
All right, so I think we should probably amend that to reference, just like this, reference one plan.
You want to say using this plan, it refers to, you use these numbers?
Okay, but then someone at home who goes on the GIS sees a map and lot number and it's a different map
You
and
should
lot
say,
number, but
you
it's
should say
still.
under GIS, it's used, but you just got to make sure that you reference where they're coming from.
Isn't there one assessor,
No,
current
there isn't.
current
There isn't.
assessor's database?
No, there isn't. Yeah, thank you very much, there isn't. We have.
He's
we
not
have-
attacking you, by the way.
I know,
Right.
we have assessors, has map and lot numbers, they're trying to clean this up, our records up right now. But we have old map and lot numbers that reference our zoning.
Well, there's an official town,
This is the official zoning.
no, not zoning, there's an official town atlas for assessors, right? Every year, isn't there one?
There is one assessor's
Yes.
database,
Well,
But-
not the think of it as a
Right.
map, because database
But
is
Dan,
yeah.
electronic.
but
There's a
that-
specific map,
correct.
so we should, just like for the, this town center, it referenced a specific survey plan. This should be referencing a specific map and year, so the 2018, 2019 town atlas, if that's what it's called, and just have those numbers.
But the district, this is the official zoning map of the district.
That created the
That
district.
created the zoning.
Wait a
district.
second, this isn't, we already did this last
I
year.
know we
Where
did.
is it? Where's the amendment? Just use the same numbers.
I'm sorry?
Why aren't we just using the same numbers?
Because at town meeting, someone raised the issue, if you go on the GIS system, there's one lot that has like 6 map and lot numbers.
No, but can I see what we did last year?
Yeah. Actually,
This does seem like deja vu, doesn't it?
I guess the first question is, you have to include an exhaustive way of referencing the sites. So if the town has a map and you have an accurate description of the lot using that map, the official town map, do you just stop there? Or do you have to then say, well, GIS has a different ability, and we use that, if there's some third map, we have to refer to that as well?
No, just prefer one map, something that's clear enough that people can understand.
Yeah, I would think so.
But we did this last year, so I don't know, unless that was wrong. But this isn't the final language, right?
No, it's not the final one.
We amended it on the floor.
Right.
This is terrible. It's bad.
Was this approved, Sarkey, by the AG? Do we have that letter?
That's what I'm getting right now.
Okay. What's the yellow?
Some small triangle down here. Why it's yellow, I don't know.
Is it a marijuana? Okay.
Hey, Dan, I just forwarded to you.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, so this is the right one here. So this
Oh,
is
okay.
behind.
Oh, this is over.
This is.
Oh, shoot, there's no attachments in
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the right of way.
Yeah.
And so these are.
Well, did this get incorporated into the code?
So this
Yes.
would be.
Is this
would
it?
be
Or is this old?
Yeah.
and columns one.
Yes, it did get incorporated into the code,
Oh, is that the electric?
but I don't have the new code.
So this is a-
That's the electrical, yeah.
New code, I don't think it's in here.
This is sort of.
No, it's not in here, I didn't put it
Right,
in
right,
here.
right, okay.
It's all right, I can follow up with you on this
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay.
This one.
So I'll work with Sarkey offline tomorrow, and if we need to make any changes to the language, we can do
Okay.
that.
But Annette recommended that we probably should reference, like moving forward, the map and lot number that we're referring to. Like we
That's
should
what
have a
we-
clause, like what happens if, and she made a good point, what happens if we start changing map and lot numbers someday?
That's why you say a specific map, atlas,
Right.
But see,
2000.
but that gets back to the zoning, like that's the official zoning map. That's that's the official map of the town, not the database.
No, I know, but we've created a new district that's done through a zoning article. And so it's the map plus the article. So legally, this is fine, the way we're doing it, by referencing an assessor's map, but we have to make a reference to a specific assessor's map. So it's set in stone. Because otherwise, these boundaries change, assessors change their lots and their map.
I'm just
parcels
thinking,
all the
like,
time.
I put too much information on that map. I shouldn't have referenced all of the new map and lot numbers, because they just created confusion.
Well,
But
I
if you
think-
go, but if you go.
Ideally, you just have whatever we
If-
had amended to last time, and if you
That's-
want to have a
well, that's
note
what I
after that
should-
saying it's also depicted as this, but
Well, it seemed,
anyways.
It seems as if some lots might be missing and others are,
All right, so
as you
we're
say,
gonna,
not
we're not
referenced.
doing anything on that tonight?
No, I just wanna give you guys a heads up, and that brought that to my attention today.
Yeah.
Did I give you the board an update on my neighborhood meeting that I had on 89 Stonebridge for the cell tower?
No.
Oh, that's right, 'cause that
That
was
was
after,
April
that
9th,
was
yeah.
after, yeah. Meeting didn't go very well. Yeah, the neighborhood, me and Louise, the town administrator, had a neighborhood meeting to see if we could put the cell tower on water department property, approximately 22 acres of land.
The issue of radiation come up?
No, but it would only affect 21 abutters versus like 40 abutters at the Gun and Rod Club. And so we had a neighborhood meeting and there was just so much opposition that we're not gonna pursue it anymore. So my final approach and I guess try would be maybe we could locate it at the high school. So I gave the coordinates to the Verizon engineer, and it could be located at the high school. It would be, the closest home would be approximately 950 feet away. And it would be located right where they're proposing to put a light pole. Let me get you the high school plans. Right here. Actually, right here in the corner of the field.
What, a cell tower?
Yeah. So the light pole is 80 feet. The cell tower would be 150 feet.
So you're thinking about putting it on top of the light?
So
Maybe
you'd
combining
have the
one?
monopole, light fixture, and then the cell tower.
We save money by not having to build that light pole ourselves?
150 feet? did you
Yes.
say?
What's the fall zone for the field house?
They could design a monopole so that it would break in half. Now, if you go down south, Molly, they put these on top of high schools.
I know, but
You know what, Molly, I'm done. I'm gonna meet with the school department. If they don't want it, I'm walking away.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we're probably gonna lose at the
She asked about how far is it from the field house?
Yeah.
So it's at the opposite end. The field house is over here.
Oh, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, the field
Yeah.
house,
This
yeah.
thing would
Yeah.
be a long, long way from the field house.
150
So
feet.
what's the
Well over
enticement,
that.
what's the enticement to the
Like
school?
400 feet. I'm sorry?
Outside of getting a pole for free, do they get payment?
Yes, they do.
They do, like a,
$4,000 a month.
that's not too shabby.
Not great.
Do you have to put it in a stance? Can you put it like?
No, we could actually, there's wetlands here. I mean, I'd like to put it further, you know.
But
away
this
from-
would, this would be not just near the light pole, but it would be the light pole.
Correct.
So it would have to be positioned
What's
perfectly to actually function as a light pole.
What's that?
I don't know what that is.
Do you have a lighting sheet?
Yes.
Let's look at that. Because those are generally sort of non-negotiable.
This is where they are.
There's only four.
One, there's only 4 of them.
Right, and they're very carefully positioned for play.
I mean, we could put it on, you know, on the visitor's side.
Those stands are normally not occupied, so.
Sounds good.
So we'll see. I mean, it's up to the school department. Their land.
But we have a wireless district.
Doesn't work.
I know, but so we don't just go and approve it for anywhere we want to.
You're absolutely right.
That
Kevin,
did
but
come up,
KP
I think, a
Law-
couple of meetings ago.
KP Law has suggested that's gonna be very difficult because they've done their engineering and they're really, they've shown where their need is and where the coverage and spots
Okay.
are.
I'm not saying I'm for or against, I just want to make sure that if we're going to approve it in some other place, that
So the last time a cell tower was built, it was through a settlement of a denial of a cell tower application, and the settlement, basically the town, right, got together with the
Exactly.
company and said, let's put the tower here. Where is it?
Reeves Hill.
Reeves Hill.
Reeves Hill, right? So,
and the transfer station is the second location, right?
No, there was another cell tower right on the rail trail in front of Stop and Shop on a lattice tower, and they just took it down because they're using the lattice tower the monopole that's in Sudbury.
So,
So we only have really we have two districts, but we only have one district that's providing cell tower coverage, and that's Reeves Hill.
We do have a second district over
Yeah, right.
so this
But
could
the
happen.
second district doesn't work, Cap.
there. I'm just saying,
I
we're
know.
gonna approve
Me
it
too.
somewhere else, that just make sure
You're
that
right, you're right.
So this could happen through a settlement again,
Yeah.
if possible.
Is there a way, and the settlement came about as an appeal, through an appeal and a sort of court
That's my understanding. of it.
battle?
I think
Is
it
there a
worked.
cleaner way of working more proactively and,
Well, the school committee
A new
approved
application.
it.
They'd have to, the tower company would have to file a new application for a variance.
Gotta go to the ZBA, right?
or we would have to file a
Zoning amendment.
docket an item for a zoning amendment to create a new district.
Right.
That's correct.
So, when the first district was created, was a comprehensive planning effort undertaken to determine?
You were on the board.
No, I think it was a compromise of where can we put it where the least amount of people were complaining. I'm not sure that it probably was the most optimal location.
Mhm.
It worked, but
But you say there's now been a study that, a fairly comprehensive study that identifies,
The frustration I have is, like, I've been approached by carriers for North Wayland, like, right at the Wayland-Lincoln line, and this kind of threw me off when he said, well, we have a coverage problem in, South Wayland. I'm like, really? This is the first I've heard of. And then when he said the high school area, because as you know, there's several on Old Connecticut Path in Framingham.
That's actually, you raise a point here that we, if we're talking about zoning, potential zoning articles, we should probably consider a cell overlay district for North Wayland before somebody comes in and puts a tower somewhere we don't want
Yeah.
it. Because there is a total gap there. I'm sure that if Verizon or AT&T did an RF study, they'd show like,
right, I mean, I would much
Tries to-
rather be proactive and transparent in the analysis than reactionary and consequently sort of subjective in our response.
can you pull together the, they call them propagation plots, which show, so these companies all do these elaborate surveys and show where the gaps
Coverage,
are,
yeah.
coverage gaps are. So maybe we have some in the files from this current application, maybe some previous
I
applications.
mean, my suggestion to these carriers for North Wayland is that Lincoln's a wonderful town to work in, and they look really beautiful.
A lot easier to
And-
permit things.
you can hide it in the
No, I mean, I'm
tree.
sure the carriers would be very happy to provide coverage maps, because
Yeah,
they'll
but-
be interested in
Yeah,
filling
right,
filling
but-
those.
I just gotta give you a warning.
But
this
are
is
they
gonna
biased
be
cut coverage maps?
Yeah.
I'm
How
sorry?
accurate coverage maps are they gonna be?
It would, I don't know, but hopefully there would be some documentation that would indicate that they're done by professionals with some level of objectivity.
All right, so
All right.
We'll
No,
work
that's a
on
good idea, because this is just, Verizon has a dead zone in the swamp.
Well, I just don't want us to get into sort of whack-a-mole with being last-minute reactionary rather
No,
than.
You're right.
So, okay,
Okay.
so you think you can pull
I
together?
will. In fact, Verizon would probably be willing to do it for us right now.
But there are multiple, there are multiple carriers though, right? So we would
Yeah.
want a comprehensive
Yeah.
look, not just from Verizon.
What I just passed out, Dan asked, and I was gonna wait till after, the election and town meeting, to create a work schedule of different projects that I need to follow up on, and different projects that the board should take on. So it's a kind of a combination of goals, different projects, matters before the planning board, follow-up. Obviously, we can go through here, but the rail trail, we still have $250,000 in gift funds for the rail trail.
What's the pink versus white section?
Pink is complete, that we've completed. Okay? However, if you look on one of the pink items, we have municipal planning review, RAP, and Nicole Riley was the leader on that particular matter. Obviously, she's no longer on the board. But there's been some complaints from citizens that we need to follow up on the RAP report. A lot of frustration as to different projects coming in right now, like why does the Loker Fields project go first before the community center? And that, you know, is it whoever, and Kent, when he was on the board, he raised this all the time. He's like, you know, is it whoever screams the loudest and advocates for their project more gets in first? So, again, something that we should follow up on. River's Edge project, great news, that's moving forward. The cleanup is moving forward. In fact, tonight, the Board of Health just voted to give them the waivers regarding the treatment plant. So I anticipate us seeing a site plan approval application, you know, over the summer, probably end of May, maybe June, for River's Edge. Final street acceptance, believe it or not, there's good movement on Spencer Circle. They're gonna withdraw the article again at town meeting.
What?
Don't laugh.
Sorry.
No, but they were able to get the Board of Public Works to vote a taking subject to a drainage easement being reviewed. So that's, the poor neighborhood finally is gonna have their street accepted. But we have several other streets here. We have Whittemore Place, which is under construction right now, in Michael Road. Dan asked. Michael Road, I anticipate final paving in June. He'll have the entire project done by July 1. He's gonna put that in writing, give me a letter in writing to that effect. And then we have greenways, and I don't know how we're ever gonna resolve greenways. I have no bond. We have a detention basin that does not work, that's not working properly, and again, that's
But they're not chopping at the bit.
they're not chopping at the bit to get accepted. Training Field Road Conservation Cluster, that's a special permit that this board issued. I need to follow up on the open space. We haven't released the lots at Training Field yet, Dan.
Do you know what's going on over there? Because they started construction and it just ground to a halt.
Well, they're
Several
waiting,
months ago.
right now, the groundwater is just incredible. They're waiting for things to dry out a little bit more. 104 Plain Road, our favorite conservation cluster. Again, waiting for documentation from Mike, who's actually waiting for us because the, the conservation, he's willing to put a conservation restriction on the project. He's not gonna gift the land to the Conservation Commission. He's actually gonna create a homeowners association.
Right.
So all that documentation was given to town council for review,
Wait, when?
like a month ago.
So KMP has,
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with KEP on that, but he is now going to, that's gonna be a homeowners association, so. But we need to follow up and get these two, Training Field Road and Plain Road, complete as far as the conservation restrictions go. Michael Road, the affordable unit is probably 75% complete. There'll be a marketing plan and a lottery for that affordable unit. Sidewalk, grant opportunities for sidewalks. I'm working with Mass DOT. They're waiting for the water completion of the water project on Route 20. And right now, I think they're gonna support putting new sidewalks along Route 20, so that'll be good to see that finally get completed.
Who's the they is gonna support?
I'm sorry?
You said they are gonna support?
MBT, the MassDOT,
Will actually pay for them?
yes,
well, that really should go hand in hand with Route 20 corridor study.
correct.
Because this is all kind of, you know, we don't want them to build a sidewalk and then, like, I think that should be planned out.
Yep.
Where is it they're building the sidewalk?
Well, they're doing the new they're replacing the 100-year-old water main
Right.
on Route 20. That's phase 2 of the water main project. Phase 1 was constructed last
So
year.
you're talking the sidewalk leading up to the town center.
Correct.
So, I'm sorry, just going back to that, MassDOT does plans long in advance of actually building anything. Have you seen plans for
No,
sidewalks?
this will be a maintenance project, like how they built the sidewalk on Route 20. They'll just have it as a maintenance contract. They probably won't have any plans.
So, just replacing,
Well, granite curbing. They'll put granite curbing in and concrete sidewalks. Just the stretch in the downtown.
Any drainage issues
consider,
there?
I think a consideration of driveway openings
Curb cuts,
and
yeah.
curb cuts and so on is really critical.
Yeah.
And not.
But we also talked about overlaying and
Right.
changing the way that's
Right.
changing the entire corridor so that we can
Yeah.
move buildings up front, do parallel or angle
Right.
parking and.
You're
Right.
probably
So-
looking at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years away, because they're gonna want this road to
But this is
settle
good
for a while.
timing because they're starting to think about this. We're starting to think about what we want to do. So what's the next step? Is there somebody over there that we should talk
Right, yeah,
to?
who's,
that's-
who's the project manager over there?
It would be, well, not the project manager, but the district highway director,
it's-
Ron Dion. I can get him, I mean, I can actually probably set up a meeting with him. and
Well,
have-
I guess, I mean, if, so, I've never worked with them on just maintenance contracts, but when they're doing road work, road reconstruction, they go 25, 50, 75, 100%
When
designs.
Route 20 was paved,
Yeah,
there were no plans.
right, and so that's what I'm saying, I've never, I haven't ever worked with them on a project like that, but
Yeah.
generally there is one project manager and they have a team with stormwater folks and traffic folks and so on who are figuring out, making sure that they're not just replacing outdated planning.
That'd be great. Can we get it done right?
So,
No, we
can I make a suggestion? I
Yeah.
think we need to take some steps
Just
forward.
take some
on-
initiative.
We've been talking about the corridor thing for a
Yeah.
while. I think, and a big linchpin to that is a sewer capacity. And I don't really feel like I have a handle on what the capacity is. Do we, have people started talking to DEP about expanding the capacity of the treatment plant?
Right.
Where do things stand with all those things? I think maybe after the election, we can get some folks from different boards together and start having
Mhm.
some informal sessions to.
I know Louise wants to do that after town meeting. That's a priority regarding Route 20. Obviously, with town center having sewer capacity, that's something.
Yeah, and she was interested in talking about the Contituate Village
Yep.
Right.
area.
But Sarky, it sounds as if you've been speaking with someone about the road and sidewalk project. Can you,
Well, just to let you know, Jen, we do have a design of sidewalks with granite curbing and concrete, because I've applied several times for grants, and unfortunately, we weren't able to receive them. But we do have plans already designed, but they're not involving, like, when you're talking about, doing a corridor study, consolidating lots, it doesn't involve that. It basically cleans up the existing curb cuts, puts granite curbing in, provides a sidewalk in front of the post office. I mean,
Mhm.
just, it's,
right, but those are our plans, not MassDOT's.
right.
So what I'm wondering is having really coordinating with whoever you've been speaking with. You've said that they're doing sidewalks with granite curbing, so you've been speaking with someone
Correct,
about doing something.
right,
And so how can we engage more formally in that conversation?
okay.
So who's your contact?
The district highway director.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, if for the next meeting, you could ask for, if they've got a sketch plan, a set of plans, a design.
Why don't we ask for a meeting? Don't you think we should start with like
Sure.
what we want to do, and then go to them and say, these are our ideas as a town, as what we want to see in this corridor. Can we have a conversation about working together? So because you guys want to
Makes
improve
sense.
the sidewalk, we want to
Yeah.
overlay zone it.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
So I think we ought to get this. I think we should get our ducks in a row first. I mean, I think you should have conversations. Just keep the.
See, what I'm trying to do is I
Right.
want them to pay, I want the state to pay for the final paving of the Route 20 corridor. I don't want the town to have to pay for it. So I want to try to coordinate with them as much as possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't want to see the taxpayers away and have to pay, because they were planning on paving the Route 20.
You're trying to make it look like this is, bring it,
Exactly.
you're making it look like a maintenance project.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, can you move this a little bit?
Right, but-
Without putting up this huge banner,
Yeah.
a redesign, you don't want to
Exactly,
redesign.
because as soon as we start getting into that.
Redesign, they're gonna be like,
Okay,
we're
and
not
that's-
gonna do
Yeah,
this.
Exactly.
I know that.
He knows what I'm trying
That's-
to
Yes, I know
say.
exactly.
That's fine, but those have to be formal agreements. I mean, they're not just happening because,
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, they are, Jeff.
With Starkey, they are.
All right, let's keep going through this
okay, well,
list. But I will get a meeting together with the Corwood District Highway Director. I'll have him.
Yeah. I think
It may have to be a day meeting though, I don't expect you to
right,
come
right,
here.
no, of course.
let's do something as soon as the election's over. Maybe new people get elected and we can,
Yeah,
Wayfinding project, we received the grant. I actually have a grant walkthrough tomorrow morning. And I was hoping, part of the grant is that we have to have a committee look at the wayfinding grant, so I was hoping that Andrew's not here tonight, but I'd like to have at least 2 planning board members on this committee, so. Ira,
What is the wayfinding, I'm sorry?
the wayfinding is the grant, the signage grant for Route 20 corridor.
Okay, sure.
There's gonna be a selectman on the committee, someone from EDC. Who else do I have on there? Selectmen, planning board, EDC, and design review board.
when does that grant money have to be spent by?
The walkthrough tomorrow, I think by the end of the summer, I wanna say August 31st. $15,000 study.
Oh, this is a study, not,
Study, yeah.
not installation.
Not installation, just a
Okay,
study.
because this should absolutely be wrapped up with the corridor.
That's correct.
okay.
Okay, where are we now? Just our zoning, we should go back to that 2016, 2017 spreadsheet that we did for zoning. Remember that list that we put together several years ago? One of the items that we probably need to talk about are dog kennels. And it hasn't affected Wayland yet, but also the letting of homes, renting.
Letting,
well,
Short-term
letting, not letting as in paying.
Airbnb, it's a
Okay.
huge issue in Natick right now,
Yeah,
regarding how do
Boston
we
too.
control that, so just a heads up. Talked about the Route 20 corridor study, town parcel 0 at Orchard Lane. Dan, do you wanna?
Yeah, I think there's some interest in exploring that as a potential field. And actually, I think we put that as an agenda item, didn't we?
Correct.
So, given all the issues with the Loker proposal and the dire need for additional playing fields in this town, some of us have been looking at what other vacant parcels there are in town, and there's a roughly 12-acre parcel at the end of Orchard Lane that actually I gave them that.
Currently under the care and custody of
School
schools.
committee.
School.
So there's, I guess, my thinking is that we should take some initial steps to look into the feasibility of doing something on that property. I spoke to a member of the EDC about this. He made the suggestion that because it's 12 acres, there might be an opportunity there to carve it up a little bit and maybe have a few house lots that might be able to be sold and then raise money and use the money to then pay for the field. So it's hopefully has a very low impact on the tax burden. And that also could help with buffering for some of the neighborhoods, some of the abutters.
That was Orchard Lane, you just went by it, didn't you?
Okay, but that's not the right parcel.
It's not at the end, it's on the corner.
That's not the right parcel.
Let me see.
Is it the parcel?
Can I see that?
Yeah. It's from our RAP report.
How
Maybe
did
it
the
is.
school
Just
committee
look-
get
Yeah, that's the one.
orphaned pieces of land here and there that have nothing to do with a particular school?
They weren't orphaned. In '56, they put it together parcels around town that would be eventually used for schools.
Okay,
And there was a vote at town meeting, and then they were all put aside.
okay.
And then they built schools.
And they still have these that they never used?
Right, because they say it's too small for school property.
Okay.
So it was
But it
originally,
doesn't-
originally a potential neighborhood school.
Yeah.
Huh.
It is.
So there's 13 acres there, which is enough space to
And it's
have,
upland, it's upland too, it's not like.
Was enough space to have a
just
field
wooded
that
now?
you could have buffer all around it to address any concerns from neighbors.
What's,
My
I
concern
don't
with,
think they would give it up. They've been pretty territorial, haven't they, in the past?
maybe there's something that,
Yeah, well, okay, try.
I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I
I
do
think it's
too.
worth looking into just the feasibility.
Sure.
I My concern with the local project is, I don't think any of us really thought that's a great site to begin with.
Right.
And I think that's gonna get tied up. I think it may get through town meeting, but I think it's gonna be tied up for a while with wetland review and conservation. And this is a little bit outside the planning board's jurisdiction, but I think as the planners in this town, I think we can help identify solutions to needs, and this is a recreational need in this town, so.
Right. We can buffer the neighbors by parking the school buses all the way around.
There you go.
The other thing
That's-
historically.
That was tongue in cheek to say that's another big planning issue that we should be tackling.
I met with,
Can we not jump to that?
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's just- So,
yes.
what do you guys think about
Just
taking-
Dan, just historically, when high school was being proposed, the new high school, one of the sub-themes was, well, we have this land, we'll develop it when the time is right and pay off the bond, ho-ho. I'm just
using
saying,
this land
Or
to?
using this land to sell, to pay the bond off. Oh, that's not,
I'm just saying ho-ho, you know,
Can they do that?
Yeah.
that's something that Triangle Natick
their land.
and.
Well,
Well, they
would it
can't
be
do it
their land?
themselves, we
Who's
have to
there?
vote it out at town meeting.
Right.
2/3 vote and no way.
All right, so do folks support the idea of having Sarkey do a little bit of feasibility analysis, maybe with Don Layton?
But Dan, I think we gotta approach the school, cause they own the property and ask for permission first, like,
But you
I would
can't-
be angry, like, if I own land and I'm going off and doing this study and not talking to the school department,
Right.
I think
I
I need
think
to.
if you go to the school department without any concept, they're gonna say,
Forget
show
it.
us a concept. I mean, I think that
think
it's a chicken and egg. I think you need to say, hey, this is what we're thinking
I
about.
You
agree
really?
with that, yeah.
I'm not saying design it, I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
think you should go out there with a wrecking crew.
No,
You
I'm
should,
not
you know,
saying
How to
wrecking.
look around and,
You can also look at the information in the RAP report, which
Yeah.
did an analysis of
Yeah,
what was on the land and
Yeah.
where there are wetlands and where the water was and all that.
that's great. Yeah, but,
That's the roof.
And
so we should just get whatever information is out there,
It's
including
there.
that.
It's right there.
Well, there might be other things. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe someone's in soil tests out there. Maybe there's someone knows where the groundwater is.
I think you should ask them.
Well,
It's in the
Yeah.
zone too, so we know that's an issue. So we have to deal with that.
I mean, schools are an interested party, obviously, as owners, but also as caretakers of many of the athletes. So I don't know what the school field scheduled demand is and whether it's being met on school property or not. But it may be that they're not only an interested landowner, but potentially an interested
partner.
partner, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so I guess I just say that to say identifying specifically the school field demand might be a helpful component to have.
I mean, to defend the rec, I understand what rec was doing with Loker, because everywhere they go, there's an issue with wetlands. But unfortunately, like, what they need and where they're placing the field, I mean, it's very expensive. And
300 trees.
And the other issue that they have is ownership. Like, it's the only land that they own that they control, so when they wanna run their rec programs, they don't have to go to the school department, get special permission, and,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, but
It's
again,
all, it's all
we're,
very complicated.
it is very,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're one town too, and I think we need to think that way, and we don't. I mean, we're so, just controlled.
Right.
We need to
Right.
think together, like, okay, schools, can you guys give up land here so we can maybe build a field at half the price versus, you know, $3 million?
It all needs to be explored.
Can we start a slide? You guys okay with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Great. All right, next.
I have town in town center, town building. There's been interest to look at the reuse or repurpose of this town building. And the first step would be legal aspects of what can we use this building, can we sell it, can we lease it? But there's been discussion about repurposing because Ben is looking at spending, you know, major dollars on renovating some of the offices here. Besides replacing the new heating system, the air conditioning system, is this building really efficient to continue for the next 20 years? So EDC, there was actually an article for this town meeting that was submitted, and then it was, I think, withdrawn at the last minute. But they will at least like to start the legal aspects of what can we do with this building, legally, what would it require? So, this is something that EDC is strongly looking at with the Board of Selectmen. School bus parking.
So are you asking, or is there anything that they're asking you or us to do in
No.
that regard?
No.
I thought we'd been here before.
Yeah, actually, the building on the north
Didn't
side
they,
of the street.
didn't they
years.
pour,
Portsmouth.
didn't they pour a bunch of money into this building to renovate it? Like only, God, it's time gone by that fast. Wasn't
Yeah.
it like less than 5 years ago? Okay. I just wanted to be clear about that.
School bus parking, I had a meeting with the Sudbury Conservation Agent and the Chair of the Sudbury Conservation Commission, last week. And I'm working with MassDOT to, have a 2-year license to park the buses on the MassDOT property in Sudbury. I am right now in the process of preparing a, request for determination. Jen, they're not gonna require me to file a notice of intent, just a request for determination with a strong narrative of what the operation's gonna be at this site, how the buses are gonna be, cleaned, where they're gonna be cleaned, who's gonna be on site, and I would like to try to submit that, probably next month. And then once
Okay.
we have that,
And
it
that's
will-
in support of a, do you have a license agreement?
The MassDOT is drafting a license agreement with the town as we speak, but
Okay,
they
so
want me to have,
Contingent on,
yes, because there's an endangered species in the back of the MassDOT property,
okay,
and MassDOT said, you know what, you probably should file something with conservation, so.
okay.
You need to talk about fueling of the buses as well.
Yeah, they fuel the trucks and everything on this
Oh,
site, so,
okay.
and they walk the site too. What we're doing in their operation is like, I mean, very clean.
Speaking of endangered species, I understand that there's a vernal pool now at Loker, and that's gonna hold things up as well. Did you hear that?
We're in the middle of the field.
No, pond in the back, but the pond has fish, so I don't know if it's a vernal pool.
Right.
If they die in a month, it was a vernal pool.
Drain it.
Just school field project, just follow up on our conditions regarding site plan approval.
People
Um,
planting fish, people planting spotted salamanders,
Yeah,
all,
exactly.
one night it's one group, one night it's another.
The Loker Field project got continued to the end of May. Zoning Board of Appeals is having a very difficult time with this project, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, I don't know if you guys were at the meeting or watched the tape. Sounds like no. There was one member of the zoning board in particular who was pretty angry about our proposed recommendation that the town hire an LSP, an independent LSP, to review the file from 20 years ago when the site was cleaned up and closed. The site was closed with an RAO statement, which is a response action outcome statement, which is the way that these sites get closed through the privatized system that this is. That this is a self-regulating system. There's no oversight by DEP unless it's a special site called a Tier 1 site, and this actually was. But it's for the most part a privatized process. And we recommended in our recommendations to the zoning board that the zoning board add a condition to their approval that there be an independent LSP to look at the file to make sure everything was done correctly, that there were no contaminants there that maybe weren't identified, that there's no emergency contaminants that weren't even thought of 20 years ago, which we know are the case because we dealt with that in the Oxbow fields. Anyway, so the member of the zoning board was very upset that we had proposed that. So what I'm planning on doing is just submitting just a follow-up letter memo, just explaining the reasoning for why we suggested this. That we're not trying to stall or delay the project. It's mostly just as a due diligence line item to make sure that everything's been looked at carefully.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
but from what I can tell, I don't think the whole board thought we were crazy. I think it was just whatever. So.
West Plain Main Street Overlay District, this is priority that I'd like to work on now for the fall town meeting. it's something that we really need to work on May and June, because once you get into July and August, it's summer vacation, and coming back in September, October, we're always scrambling around. But I'd like to have something at least prepared for this area. I mean, this gas station's been vacant for well over almost 2 years. 2.5 years the gas station's been vacant, so it'd be nice to clean that up.
Has there been any outside interest in this property?
For the right price, there is. I mean, they're looking for
Well, the last
1.5
owner
million.
was all excited about redeveloping it, and was there for a couple of years, and then
Right.
moved. So-
And can you remind me what a zoning amendment would do to facilitate redevelopment? What are you proposing? I know that there was bundling of lots possible, but that's,
Right, consolidate the two lots, maybe relax some of the setback requirements. We have, the parking, I think we can deal with the zoning we have in place, where you can park and utilize a municipal parking lot, but the issue's gonna be sewer.
Why don't we relax the parking though while we're at it, because that's exactly the problem with that's CVS. I mean,
Yes.
we have a
Right.
choice, we had
Yeah,
to,
Right. Yep, so we can relax the parking, but sewer's gonna be the issue. Sewering that property.
okay, but that's not a zoning amendment.
It's not a zoning amendment, which means it
There's no
needs
sewer
any Board of
there.
Health, I'm sorry?
There's no sewer there.
Well, there's a small septic system between the
Gas
gas
tanks.
station, on the gas station property, and I call it the Honey Farm
Okay.
strip mall property. And then the Honey Farm septic system is in the back, and the system isn't doing well from what Board of Health told me. So any system that goes in there is probably gonna have to be a mounted system based on the new Title V regulations, which means you're gonna have
No
to rate.
parking.
Correct.
Hmm.
Okay, so from a zoning perspective, it really is a parking.
Parking and
And
sewer.
set-
Right,
but-
From a
but-
zoning, yeah,
zoning.
parking. Parking and setbacks, because the
I think the
setback
objective,
is 30 feet.
I think the objective, Jen, is to clean up this area, encourage good growth,
Right,
allow for maybe a little more density, bring buildings closer, the whole thing, the
Mhm.
same thing we're talking about Route 20, just
yeah,
to make it
Right.
a vibrant,
right,
responsible village
Mhm.
center.
yeah.
Next,
So are you gonna then start thinking about design
Yep.
for that? Okay.
yes.
But
Site
design for that or zoning for that?
zoning and design. Put some concepts together and put better concepts together in zoning. Some proposed zoning.
I think we need the
amendments.
concepts first, so we see what could happen there, and then talk about it amongst ourselves, and then we can fill in the regulations.
You
Okay,
already did that, didn't you?
Not enough. It wasn't detailed. It was just conceptual.
okay.
Site signage improvements for 334 and 338 Boston Post Road. This ties into the wayfinding, but also, this is, dear to Larry's heart. This is trying to provide a bike connection from Route 20 to the Mass Central Trail. out
Where in
here.
Route 20?
I guess a landmark would be between the bank and the Whalen House of Pizza.
Which bank?
Santander. Is to try to provide some type of a connection from
Oh.
Route 20 to the rail trail. Like right now, if you wanna go,
Oh, you mean like an entrance as opposed to,
Going through someone's-
Another gateway.
yeah, another gateway, cause people are just going through the back of the parking lot, and then the House of Peeps is actually, in fact, today, he said, geez, there's a lot of people using the trail on the weekends, and, maybe I'll clean up the back and put.
Yeah, they're missing a
Tables out there,
golden
yeah.
opportunity.
Exactly, so that's all it takes, is just someone to start, but there's no connection, like you have to, you run private property, right? I mean, if you wanna enter the rail trail through there, so, again, that ties into wayfinding, also ties into a corridor study. And then, of course, lastly, Town Center submitted a new sign package, and we have some, obviously, conditions that we have to fulfill.
So, Sarky, there were a couple that you skipped over. Just starting at the top, rail
Oh.
trail development, you said things in pink are done.
Correct.
But you say apply for grant going west,
Correct.
so that's outstanding?
No, we received that $30,000 grant.
Okay. And but what do we need to do next to actually?
Well, I just wanted to put this on there because, just to let the board know, we still have $250,000 in rail trail funds that we have not spent. And we're trying to hold that money because we'd like to negotiate with Eversource and DCR to construct a rail trail going west. I guess Eversource is waiting for their final appeal from the town of Sudbury, and it should be imminent that they'll have that decision, and then they're gonna construct this from the substation all the way into Hudson. So there's gonna be a missing section from the
Right.
substation through the Wildlife Refuge Corridor.
Up to
However-
Russell's.
Up to Russell's.
Right.
However, DCR is gonna do all the permitting for us. They're gonna file one permit for the whole
They were,
entire
they were
corridor.
up there walking that
Oh,
bridge
good.
today, they were working,
Oh,
doing
perfect,
something, I couldn't
right.
see what they were doing.
So we'd like to
Okay.
have Eversource do that work while they're negotiate again with Eversource to do our piece.
Right, okay.
I don't have anything in writing to that effect right now. But we have 250,000. If we have to, we could use some of those funds.
Okay, and the Mass Works grant,
That's received, that's under construction right now.
but the sidewalks are not included in that,
That's correct.
so that's just the water lines.
Correct. And also, you
And-
guys received my email, but we certified, because we have a housing plan. Our housing plan got adopted in 2016. We actually certified the housing at Cascade, the 60 units at Cascade. So we have a 2-year safe harbor from 40Bs.
And there's a mediation today on that project, and there's gonna be another session of that in June, right?
I don't understand, we certified the housing at Cascade?
Yes, even though we don't,
I thought you got certified after the building
no,
occupancy.
after the
It's
permit.
after zoning.
Once the permit's issued. And because we produce 25 units, every 25 units is 1 year safe
I'm
harbor.
zoning out, where's Cascade?
That's Mahoney's.
That's what I thought.
Right. The zoning board of appeals approved
With
Cascade,
conditions.
subject to
Oh,
conditions.
I forgot they did it that way, okay,
All right, so
okay.
then we,
Okay.
and the only way you can certify a 40B project to have a safe harbor is to have a housing plan
Okay,
in place, as well as a number of units.
So that put the break, that gave us 2 years?
2 years, so that's what Dan has been saying, is that we need, like, we could have another 40B project right now, and we wouldn't be able to stop it.
It's 2 years, except if a building permit is not issued within a year, then that drops off. So it's actually just 1 year.
Oh, okay.
But in the meantime, we should be thinking of
But we are able to stop it for this 1 year, right?
Right,
Yeah, and
definitely.
hopefully River's Edge.
Okay.
Minutes?
Can you stay? Let's show you something on the map that you pointed out today.
Depending on how long you're gonna be.
Actually, I can show you right now. This is the official zoning map.
Right,
Okay.
but it has parcels in each
Right.
of them.
And I reference both, because you asked, where's 2106A? That 2106A, that doesn't show up on the assessor's records.
Oh,
So I'm referencing, I probably should say where I'm referencing these map and lot numbers, that some refer to the zoning map and some refer to the assessor's database.
they're all different?
Yes, they are. And there's one map that has like 20 map and lot numbers in the assessor's record.
Page 2, Sark, give it a capital T.
Sorry, written comment. Oh, sorry.
Did you send a comment letter on that,
Last
arts,
departure.
music school or art school or whatever it was?
Do it tomorrow. Oh, they actually submitted a new plan with no driveway. Yeah, let me show you, Dan. They're not coming out on the road. This is what they originally submitted.
It's not deep.
The minutes, the last item on the agenda.
Is this? Got the T there, lowercase. There's. Rest of mine as well. I just, whatever it is.
Did you take Jen's? These are Jen's? Kevin.
So how do you make a decision, like, for example, this, no one else pulled that out, are you gonna leave it?
This isn't that complicated, you've made it more complicated than it has to be. I think you could fix it easily.
Can you help me fix it, please?
Sure.
I'll pay you to help me fix it.
Yeah, that's what you said the last time.
You didn't send me
Just
a
keep
bill.
the bill. I mean, just
So
keep
in
it.
the minutes, my only sort of general comment is as I was reading through it, it didn't seem to capture the discussion we had. There's a discussion that's described here as a series of issues that we raised with respect to the height, a couple of other issues, and it seemed to me that the board
A little bit more.
wasn't in support at all, and then all of a sudden there's a motion to approve this thing.
I mean, like, you know, Andrew,
And as I remember, there was a comparison with the Donald sign. We said, okay, well, it's a lot smaller than that. There was just a comment that Andrew had made reflecting what the design review board had said. There's a fair amount of input in addition to the board going out and viewing the post that the board that you had put in the post.
you can, I mean, they have, you know, Andrew Rec commented that they do not have an issue with the height, and that it may help identify that there are more businesses in the town center development. Kevin Murphy stated that if you fill up the town center, you'll get your sign permit. Remember that comment?
I did say that. I did say that.
No, I can add some more, I can go through the tape again and,
Yeah, I think I actually gave a personal opinion that I like the design and
okay,
what's worth.
all right,
Sarky, can I ask you a favor?
yeah,
Can you call Struzuli, or he owns Donald's, right?
correct.
They've got a sign down on 27 that's been down for
Oh, the
ages.
China Rose.
No, he
place?
doesn't own that. No, that's not owned by him. You talking about the China Rose sign?
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah, you're right.
That's owned by.
That's only been a month, come on.
You're right, you're right.
No, but I can do that,
I'm
Mark.
surprised they didn't pull that right up.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended
With,
with recommended changes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? All opposed? 3-0. Anything else? All right,
so May
next meeting is May 13th.
13th.
All right, motion to adjourn,
Meeting.
So moved.
seconded, all in favor? It's a vote by unanimous vote, we're adjourned.